From this angle you can see how much this edge is knocked in here at the front dent and here at the back. We're going to try to knock that ridge out of there. I'll take that button off and put another one up in there a little bit, try to pull that up. Slide hammer on this puppy and see what happens. Ah. You know, I think that glue just likes time to set up, because that didn't stay on there any time at all. This is part of the process, learning what works and what doesn't work. Could be that little button had some grease on it we didn't clean off or something. The glue definitely stuck to the paint, just didn't stick to the button. Well, we'll see if it's on there a little better before we put the slide hammer on it. What do you think? Yeah, let's see. Just the idea is good, but the application is not very good. I have to use both hands for this job. A little pressure on that while we're tapping in here. Pop that right off. Probably very, very difficult to see on the camera, but we are slowly but surely getting that dent out of there. I'm not sure, but I think what we've done here, sports fans, is pulled the paint off. How about that? So much for paintless dent repair. Probably a little too much alcohol on the cleanup softened the paint, and we pulled it right off. Kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? We'll see if we can continue to work on this and get that dent out of there. Yeah, we're on a roll there, pulling more paint off. So we're going to try this big tool on this other dent just to see how it works. This is the pad for the bridge tool. I'm going to go ahead and stick one of those on there. Wait 3 minutes or so. That's coming out a little bit. Put a little more pressure on this bar here and see if we can pull some of this up. So we've been slowly working on this, trying to bring this edge in. And at the same time we put a little pressure on this bridge, try to pull this dent up out of here. We've got a pretty good hump there. Well, this job took so long I had to take a nap. It's definitely a time-consuming project. I don't know how well you can see this, but the dent is quite a bit less than it was before. It's certainly not right. The other dent is about 90% gone, although we did pull the paint, which defeats the whole purpose. We've managed to get the fender line between the hood and the fender pretty straight, and this little bit of paint damage at the edge was there to begin with, and certainly we haven't made it any better by working it, but we've still got a little bit to go. It's just a game of small moves, and you really have to be patient and take your time and hope for the best. It's certainly not a project for everyone, but this dent in particular was about the size of a baseball, and now it's about hail damage size, so we've got a little bit more work to do, and before it gets dark we'll see what happens. And by the way, make sure you wear your gloves when you're dealing with the alcohol. Well, it's turned into another day here in the backyard, and we're still working on these dents. I think we've gotten to the point with the dent towards the rear that we can't use the pulling tools anymore because the paint has pulled off and the glue doesn't want to seem to adhere to the surface without the paint there, which is interesting. The front dent is substantially better than it was, but it's still not right, and we're probably going to spend a little more time on it. It might be interesting to have some of those rods that they use to try to get inside and see if we can push these dents a little further from the inside, but right now we don't have those. initial observation is that this is not something that's for everybody. The kit contained a lot of nice tools, a lot of accessories, not a lot of information on which one to use when and how, but kind of a figure it out for yourself deal. Some of the buttons stick better than others, and of course they're all different shapes and sizes, so you're really kind of on your own to try to figure out which one you want to use. I think in reality, for the average guy, you're a lot further ahead to save your $100 and put it towards paying somebody that knows what they're doing. At the very least, a guy could go to the local pick-apart, maybe find a vehicle with the same color fender or door or hood, and for $30 or $40 just buy a replacement part, and in a couple of hours change it, instead of spending 7-8 hours, whatever it's going to take, on trying to pull these little dents out. It is an interesting concept, and I'm sure in a lot of cases it works, and I'm sure that people with a lot of experience would be able to do a lot better job than I have done. But my goal was to see just what happens when the average guy spends $100 on one of these kits and tries to do it himself. So, you know, hopefully somebody's been able to learn something from this. And I will say that in watching the video from yesterday, I see there were a lot of mistakes that I made. In a lot of cases, the little pad wasn't glued properly, and in a lot of other cases, the tools that I was using to pull the pads weren't square and pulling in the right direction. So those are all things you learn along the way.